How's it going, folks? It's Andrew from MAO Magic, and I am here with a product so unique, I am convinced this is actually a Think Geek April Fool's Day product. But this is actually Quirky's and GE's combo product, the Egg Minder. So this was obviously fueled through Quirky's crowdsourced invention website, which really is kind of no longer, as they've declared bankruptcy. But Wink, the company that kind of powers this, is still functioning as it is. So this is still a viable product being sold out there on Amazon and the ilk. Now, this is really just another smart home automation type device that's chock full of eggy goodness. This is basically a way for you to know if you have eggs, know if they're bad, and which one you should use next. If we take a look at the hardware, the first thing you're going to notice is not a standard dozen of eggs. It is actually a baker's dozen plus one, as they proudly exclaim on the side of the box. You have a clear lid with those little blackouts marks on the sides. It has the 14 egg holes inside of it, which are pressure sensitive to tell if they have eggs. On the bottom side, you're going to notice it has the battery compartment. This runs on AA batteries and a simple on and off switch. There are lights down the middle as well as those sensors on the bottom. So those lights will light up and they can tell you which eggs you should use first, like which ones are oldest as you're taking them out one by one, as well as letting you know which ones are bad. Now let's go ahead and set this up. So we're simply going to download the Wink app from the App Store for Android or iOS in this case. You're going to go ahead and create an account. Then you're going to add a new product. You can simply scan the barcode at the top. You can search through the list, or even at the bottom, you can buy products if you just need to have more. There are obviously a ton in here because the Wink app works with a ton of different companies, such as Nest, as well as the actual GE Quirky products. So we're going to go to the kitchen one. We're going to simply choose our Egg Minder, our piece of hardware here. Funny thing, it's spelled differently than on the box. Anyway, you're going to go ahead and add your Wi-Fi information because this is going to connect to your network. You're then going to make sure you turn it on, remove the lid. Once that is flashing a orange, reddish color, you're then going to hold your phone up to it and it's going to flash a whole bunch of times. This is basically that blink up process, like from Electric Imp that we saw when we were setting up the Lockatron when we were working on that. This used a similar process, but just going to flash a bunch of time and pass over that Wi-Fi information to the onboard software. Once it knows your network, it's going to confer with the app a little bit. And it's going to take a few minutes, especially if there are any software updates that need to happen. It's going to ask for your location as well as notification abilities. And then they're all set to go. It's going to walk you through how this app works and how the Egg Minder works, such as how you know which one's the freshest egg. It'll blank in the app, as you can see with that blue circle, or in the actual hardware itself. There'll be a little blue light right down the center letting you know as well. So now that we have our Egg Minder all set up with our app, I think it's time to add some eggs. So we're simply going to go ahead and add a half dozen or so eggs here, a little mini carton of eggs. And now what I kind of find is like the oddest thing about this is where do they come up with 14? I guess, okay, if you warn me when I have 2 eggs left and need to buy more, you go buy a new dozen, you put them all in, it works fine. What happens after you have 3 eggs? Okay, and you go buy another dozen, then you can only move 11 into here, and you have like 3 in there. So you have 1 in your old carton, and then you go through here, and then you add a new one to the Egg Minder, but it's going to start your 4-week time from when you just added it, but that could have been a week ago if you haven't used eggs. So it's a little bit odd with that number that they chose. Not like there's a better way to do it. Just the kind of the devil of the beast of an Egg Minder. But as you can see here, we have this is the oldest egg because it's the first one that we added to our tray. You can tap on them in the app itself and it'll tell you how many days that particular egg has left. And that is kind of hit or miss because you are really choosing that. You can actually go into the settings and tell it how long you want those eggs to be fresh. So if you want around 4 weeks or so, all these are going to have about 27 days remaining because today being the first day. If you go into the settings, you see a few of the different options, such as how long do I want those eggs to be fresh, and it can be up to you. So you could be really daring and say 7 or 8 weeks, or you could be a wuss and go with 2. You can choose how many you want it to alert you when they're low and whether you want it to alert you. You can have the app let you know when one of your eggs is about to go bad within 3 days or so. And you can also turn on a low battery alert. You can add a second user, so if there's 2 of you that really need to know how many eggs you've got left, you can enable that there as well. Now, I'm not really sure what to think of this product, but we will break it down into pros and cons as always. First off, it looks good. I think it has a very nice design to it. And it's customized alert time, so if you really want to be stringent or wiggle room with your eggs, you can change how long they're fresh. You always know how many eggs are, so whether you're remotely, so you can be at the grocery store and it'll tell you how many eggs you currently have, as well as which ones are the oldest, so you can get rid of the old ones first and keep the fresh ones around. On the con side of this, it has missed alerts for me. It wasn't always accurate in letting me know. It has mistakenly said there was not an egg in there when I definitely had, I had 6 and it would tell me I had 5 and it didn't really re-register that other egg, so that was kind of a problem. But it doesn't happen that often. And it holds an odd amount. I'm not really sure if I'm buying a dozen at a time, how many I'm using, and how many should be left, especially if you go through eggs quickly. This is definitely not a product for you. And the price, which is kind of a con because originally it was $80. Now it's around for $50, but you can get it as low as $12. So price is kind of a question mark whether it's good or bad. If you have a question about this particular product, throw it up in the comments. Make sure you subscribe so I can keep these videos coming. And other than that, I will see you guys all next time.